With many renters struggling to make ends meet during the coronavirus pandemic, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of California is warning landlords not to resort to sexual harassment or demanding sexual favors in lieu of rent. Assistant U.S. Attorney Chris Tenorio is the Civil Rights Coordinator at the Southern District. He's tasked with investigations into hate crimes, human trafficking, and housing discrimination. While his office hasn't seen any instances of this type of sexual coercion so far during the pandemic, he wants tenants to know they could reach out to his office for possible violations of the Fair Housing Act.
One of the things that we look at generally when investigating civil rights is an exploitation of a vulnerability. Here, the pandemic is just creating more vulnerabilities for people, whether it's economic or situational. So if someone is unable to pay the rent or unable to get housing, they might be more vulnerable to coercion of some type.
Legal service providers also want tenants to know that despite the pandemic, their rights as tenants against harassment are still in effect.
We have had occasions where landlords use their power, privilege of power, over women particularly, and over particularly women of color, to try to force inappropriate behavior upon them in exchange for getting the apartment, paying for the apartment, all kinds of things.
But, Noel cautioned, this is a very small minority of landlords. Still, he's happy to see the federal government step in on behalf of protecting tenants, especially during a time when so many are vulnerable to unscrupulous landlords. Max Rivlin-Nadler, KPBS News.